Reddit fresh. Am I the idiot for upgrading my ticket knowing that my sister expected me to help take care of her kids on the flight? My sister and I live in the same city, but our parents moved to another country for retirement. They flew us out for their anniversary. Our parents buy all of us tickets on the same flight. My sister has 2 kids, a 6-month-old and a 5-year-old. She is currently separated from her husband, so she would have to handle 2 children by herself on a 10-hour flight. Or so I thought. She calls me up a week or so beforehand and asks me if I will be willing to help her take care of her kids on the flight, and something about taking shifts so we can both sleep. I tell her that I wasn't comfortable with that, but she says, "Nephew loves you so much, so we can work something out on the flight," and hang up. I was pissed. I didn't sign up for mid-flight babysitting. I called my airline office and asked if they had any business class seats available. They said yes, and I upgraded using a mix of points plus money. The upgrade cost me $1.50 out of pocket, the rest covered by my frequent flyer miles, and it was money well spent to be able to sleep. I get to the airport, check in, and wait around for my sister to show up. She does, and I eventually tell her that I upgraded. She didn't seem too happy. She still sends me little screenshots of how important family is and how we should care about them. I mean, the only reason why I upgraded was because she expected me to babysit, and I didn't give her a heads up. And for everyone that said I didn't tell her I didn't want to do it, I did. I did tell her over that phone call I didn't want to do it. She does have a history of dumping her kids with me, and I didn't want to spend 10 hours on the plane with them, only to spend another week with them in a foreign country, where I babysit them while she went sightseeing for me time. Not the idiot. She made the decision to have the kids. She made the decision to take an international flight with them. Not your problem. You're the idiot. This is one of those cases where, sure, technically you were not required to help. They aren't your kids after all, right? But this is your sister, and she obviously could have really used your help. It sounds like the only reason you didn't help was because you just didn't feel like it. That's pretty lame. It is also lame to not give her any advance warning. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for making a group in a class redo their final assignment because it was sexist? I'm a grad student at a mid-sized private university. As a grad student, I am forced to teach during the summer session without a supervising professor. Anyway, this is a lower-level programming course. I gave the students a lot of freedom to do what they wanted for the final exam. One all-male group submitted a program they made which provides a chance me of sorts for guys trying to get laid. They are supposed to self-rate themselves in terms of things like attractiveness, confidence level, parental income, frat tier, and mutual friends, as well as the similar characteristics for the girl. The program itself works very well and is deserving of an A for its complexity and polish for a lower-level class. I told them I would not accept such an assignment, though, and that they have to resubmit a different one due to it being sexist. I feel like I gave them a pretty reasonable extension, too. My school has 2 summer sessions, and this was at the end of the first one. I gave them until my final exam deadline at the end of the second semester, which is around a month for them. I also told them they could literally just change the inputs on the exact same program and just make it about something else, and they'd get an A. That would take like an hour of mindless work at most. They reported me to my department head, who said I was within my rights to do this. The students finally relented, but they remained very angry with me and all said they'd leave bad rate my prof reviews, which they sadly did follow through with. Am I really being unreasonable here? Not the idiot. Honestly, I see huge flaws with their program and wouldn't have given them a high grade. The user self-reports their own stats and enters the stats of the girl. The program has no way of knowing how accurate those numbers are, so you're going to have deluded users ranking themselves really high, being told they should be able to hook up with chicks, and then getting shot down. You're the idiot. Sounds like they basically made a Tinder. You are definitely overreacting and you are putting these kids' future in jeopardy. Because what? It made you uncomfortable. Grow up. You should be reprimanded and have your class taken away. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for not respecting my coworker's peanut allergy? We have a new employee I will call Heather. I have a candy dish on my desk which has various types of candy in it. Right now, I happen to have the little Reese's peanut butter cups. Heather noticed my candy dish and said, "You know, I'm allergic to peanuts." I said I was not aware of her peanut allergy, but I did have some other kinds of candy in my dish without peanuts if she wanted any. She said, "You don't seem to get it. I could die." I said, "Yes, I have heard that can happen sometimes." I said that at the time I purchased the candy for my dish, she was not employed by our company yet, and next time I would be sure not to buy candy with peanuts. She then said, "Don't you think it's insensitive to keep that death-inducing candy sitting on your desk? You're not respecting my peanut allergy." I said I did not think it was insensitive because all she needed to do was not take any of it. She told me I needed to get rid of my candy and I told her no. I said, "We have employer-sponsored health insurance. If you know you will die if you come in contact with something as common as peanuts, I suggest you get an EpiPen." She went to Human Resources and basically told them I was putting peanut butter candy on my desk to harass and bully her because of her peanut allergy. I got a lecture from HR and was directed to never bring anything containing peanuts into the office again. I definitely think she is an idiot, but I am not entirely sure about myself. Edit. A lot of people are talking about airborne peanut allergens. I don't think it's that kind of peanut allergy because she was standing right next to my candy dish the entire time she was arguing with me. Also, she didn't correct me when I said that as long as she didn't eat any of the peanut candy, it wouldn't be a problem for her. Also, when I talked with HR, they did not say anything about an airborne peanut allergy. I know I wasn't nice, and I am not saying I was not an idiot. I do want to say if I thought she was in any actual danger, I would remove the candy right away. One more edit. I don't know if it makes a difference, but my candy dish primarily had non-peanut candy. Kit Kat, Milk Duds, Whoppers, Rollos, and then Reese's Cups. It all came together in the same bag like a Halloween candy mix. Then I added milk chocolate Dove candies, no nuts. We are literally talking about no more than 3 Reese's Cups in the candy dish, not an entire dish full of Reese's. Update. Today I went to the HR lady to discuss me being the only person instructed not to bring peanuts to the office. The HR lady said, "I owe you an apology. We should have done our due diligence before we said that, and we shouldn't have singled you out. At this time, we have no reason to limit anyone from bringing peanuts to the office." I asked her, "What about Heather's allergies?" She kind of rolled her eyes and said, "I really can't talk about her private health information. All I can say at this time is that I haven't seen any evidence that supports the need to limit any employee's exposure to peanuts. Going by the evidence we have, Heather will be just fine, and that's all I can say about it." Not the idiot. If her allergy is so severe that she could die from someone else in the office having a very common food, that's called a disability, and she simply cannot work in a setup like that with other people. What she cannot do is expect for the whole company to never eat peanuts again. That's ridiculous, not the idiot. And here's why. If she had an allergy so severe that it's triggered by airborne particulates, she would have alerted HR prior to starting, and HR would have sent an email asking people not to bring in any peanut products. That's what you do. You don't go around bullying people who have candy on their desk. If her behavior was as described here, she was being a huge AH and clearly looking to intimidate and start trouble. I'd go to HR and tell them that unless she's requested that no one bring in any peanut products, then she was clearly targeting you, and you'd like to file a complaint against her for bullying. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot? I work in publishing. Mom keeps giving my contact info to aspiring writers. I am rude to them. I am a senior editor at a publishing house. First piece of advice I got on being hired was not to tell people I work in publishing because they'll ask me to look at their manuscript. I thought this was a joke, but the first time I told someone that I was in publishing, you get one guess what they said. My mother sees this as a bonus and wants to brag to everyone and their dog about my daughter the publisher, and my daughter, who could find the next J.K. Rowling, and my daughter who can part the Red Sea with only a green pen. She finishes her boasting by giving them my contact information. If I've asked her to stop it once, I've asked her to stop it 1,000 times, and yet I'm still getting contacted by the nephew of my mother's butcher, or my cousin's girlfriend's cousin, saying Mum gave them my information so they could show me their work. I then tell them to get lost. I even have a template that I send back to most of them saying that there is a process in place for a reason, along with an outline of this process. If they get pushy, which they always do, I respond that the reason the process exists is so people like them don't waste my time, as I could be using this time to find a manuscript actually worth publishing, which theirs clearly isn't, because if it was, they could go through the regular channels like everyone else, rather than contact me directly and request special treatment. In conclusion, I am not kind to these people. The consequence of this is that I am gradually ostracizing my mother from her social circles as people have begun to blame her for me reaming out their acquaintance. Mom has asked that I be nicer. I've asked her to stop putting me in this position. Mom claims that she stopped giving my info to people, and these are just the stragglers, but they just keep coming. So I'm not fully convinced that she's stopped giving out my information. I told Mom that if they get pushy after they receive the template, I reserve the right to give them everything I've got. But Mom has said that I'm being really unfair, both to her and the aspiring authors, and that I'm ruining her reputation, so I need to stop being so rude. I said I will deal with them however I feel is appropriate, and this wouldn't happen if she didn't give my info out. She says she learned her lesson, so I need to stop. I said I'll stop when people stop using her as a reference. She says that I'm enjoying humiliating and upsetting both these people and her, and that the next time she hears from me, she's expecting an apology. Am I the idiot? Edit in regards to people saying that I may be costing us potentially valuable authors. If the material can stand up on its own, then they can go through the regular process, as we will be able to identify good writing. If they don't trust that we can identify good writing, then they should not be working with us. If they do trust us, but want to skip the line anyway, then they are not someone we want to work with, as this suggests that they want special treatment, which will not end with me reading their manuscript and is likely to be a recurring theme throughout working with them. Not the idiot. I used to work for a bookstore reviewing and rejecting local self-pubbed author submission. I know exactly how pushy aspiring authors can be. Everyone sucks here. Your mom was wrong for giving out your contact information, but that doesn't allow you to make an ass out of yourself to these people. If they're a massive egotistical douche, then sure, respond in kind. But you cannot justify laying into people unprovoked. It sounds like narcissism is running both ways here. I get it, it probably isn't worth your time, and they should go through the proper channels. It's 2021. Can't be that hard to block a phone number or email address. Also, not that hard to get a new number or email address. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my sister the only reason her BF is with her is because of his fetish? My sister, female 25, and I, female 22, grew up in the Deep South. My dad is almost 400 pounds and my mom is close. I grew up as a fat kid, however, when I started college and moved to a very fitness-friendly state, Colorado. I lost a lot of weight. I started to care more about my looks. I became a personal trainer last year and got a rhinoplasty recently to fix my crooked humped nose. My sister decided to move up with me. My sister was not very approving of my weight loss, nor was she happy I did a lot to change my appearance. While we get along wonderfully most of the time, we still have fights about her thinking I'm vain. My sister's weight is around 300 pounds. I have offered her help, however she just tells me life isn't about looks. Frankly, I don't care what she looks like, I just want her to be healthy and confident. My sister sometimes acts out at me a lot, especially when it comes to guys. When we have gone to bars, people can be cruel, saying, "What your sisters couldn't tell," or outwardly paying more attention to me. I defend her when I see it, but it still hurts her confidence. She has cried to me multiple times about dating, asking why can't anyone accept her for who she is. In Jan, my boyfriend of 2 years cheated on me. My sister told me that maybe he left me because I was too vain and high maintenance. I ignored her. Around the time of the breakup, she started dating a guy, and I was happy for her. However, the guy gave off some weird vibes, the way he looked at my sister when she ate, and making plans when my sister and I are supposed to do healthy activities. Since then, my sister has gained a massive amount of weight and has become more hostile towards me. Her boyfriend buys her large quantities of unhealthy food and insists that she needs to eat more. He is weirdly touchy with her and often dismisses things she says. They don't talk and just watch TV. She hasn't met his friends or family yet also. She complains how he never posts about her on social media. About a month ago, I had a friend over. This friend is interested in fetishes, and they recognized my sister's BF from a feeder site. I didn't want to bring it up with my sis because that didn't seem like it was my place, but it worried me greatly. I recently downloaded multiple dating apps, And my sister, like any sister, wants to see who I matched with. I showed her, and she immediately said the only reason I got these matches is because I'm shallow. She then told me I might be more successful if I stop worrying so much about my looks, and said that her boyfriend loves her for her personality, not her looks, and girls who look really good get men who want them just for their looks. This angered me to the point where I told my sis that her boyfriend is a feeder, and he doesn't love her. If he did, he would put her health over his fetish and actually want to introduce her to the people in his life. My sister has refused to talk to me for a week so far, and calls me a horrible person along with my parents joining in. Not the idiot. Your intentions were good, and this guy is sending off red flags for you. However, you gotta respect that your sister is an adult, I assume, and is going to make her own choices. All you can do is show her the proof from the feeder site, as one user suggested, and let her know you care about her. You think she deserves better, and you'll always be there for her. You could approach this much more lovingly. Everyone sucks here. It was a bad way to lash out in response. But you are a very soft AS. I can't really blame you for lashing out after all the abuse she puts you through just for caring about your appearance and being healthy. It seems like she wants to put you down to raise herself up. She is a major idiot. Honestly, she needs a reality check. She probably needs a doctor to scare her, and maybe a therapist.